Hey everybody, this is Fragger and Jeff here for a look back at Viva Pinata.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Is this the first A Look Back At I have appeared on?
This is the first look back at that Ray hasn't appeared on.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So have I've replaced him officially?
Well, maybe.
You know, I mean, he tried really hard, but he just wasn't up to the task. So they had to call in the big guns. I actually don't have any guns, big or small.
Oh.
For the record.
Oh, that's awkward. But no,
Yeah.
I specifically had to bring you in for the Viva Pinata one because I knew that you love this game.
Because it's one of the probably, I'm going to go out on a limb and say 5 best Xbox 360 games of all time. I feel like a lot of people probably didn't give this game a chance because it seemed like a kid's game.
But it's a really messed up kids game.
But it is not.
No.
It is an intense effort in resource management that rivals any Civilization or StarCraft game.
And on the surface, when you're actually describing this game to people, like what you do in the game, it's very messed up. The whole point of the game is to get pinatas to have sex to make other pinatas.
To murder them.
Yeah, so you can murder them and watch them all eat the pinata. It's like, that's a little messed up.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's very, very dark.
But yes, this is a utterly fantastic game, and one I've seen requested a few times, so we might as well get to it.
All right, let's do it.
Yes, so let's take a look at some of these achievements, and since you know a lot more about them than I do, you can probably explain them a little better.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Like, I see on the list you've got Master Challenger,
Yes.
which is 20 gamer score to successfully complete 20 factory requests.
Mm-hmm.
That is, that's like kind of the meat of the game. Like you were saying earlier, your goal of this game is to like attract pinatas to your garden.
Yeah.
And then you mate them, take those pinatas that you mate, or the original ones you attract, and then like you'll get a request in. Like Billy in Hoboken would love to have a pink horstachio for his birthday party.
Oh,
and so
man.
you make a pink horstachio, and then you send it off, and then he beats it to death with a stick.
For happiness.
Yeah. So you can get really dark with it. Like you can get 2 horstachios and you can mate them, and then you can make them have a bunch of babies, and then take the cutest baby and then have Billy murder it. Which is essentially what the game is all about.
About murdering pinatas.
Also, like we were talking about mating, Master Romancer, which is to become a Master Romancer for 20 species, that's kind of hard.
Yeah.
Becoming a Master Romancer is kind of difficult because it's like you have to do certain requirements to make them want to bone.
Yeah.
And then when they finally do bone, it takes you to a mini game where you have to like move a pinata around and avoid like bombs. And I guess the bombs are abstinence. And like if you can avoid all the abstinence, then you can make a pinata baby, and it gets progressively harder each like successive baby you make.
Yeah.
And I think so you have to make 7, and at the end you gotta like have a perfect run to get the 7th one. It's pretty awesome. It's just as difficult as real sex.
Okay. See, now,
Yeah.
since you mentioned bombs or abstinence, my brain immediately went to how weird you can then take that with Bomberman.
I don't want to entertain that with you.
That's where my brain immediately went to, so let's move on before it gets even weirder.
All right, good. Maxter Collector,
Yes.
which is to make 50 species resident. That's actually pretty difficult too. I mean, it's pretty easy at first. Like an ant will move in like instantly, or a worm or whatever. But like at the end, when you're trying to get like a rhinoceros, or I think they're called limoceros, or like a fucking dragon. Don't even get me started on dragons. You have to start getting some pretty complicated stuff. Like you have to have a certain amount of water or a certain amount of sand, or you have to have like these other 7 pinatas living there, or like certain shit for you.
It has to eat this pinata.
Yeah, no, it's pretty rough. And it'd be like he's only attracted to the garden if he can eat this pinata. And this pinata, whatever the fuck it is hard as shit to get in itself. So it gets pretty complicated.
It's one of those things where, like, to get this pinata, you have to get this pinata, to get this pinata, to get this pinata.
Yeah, and then they'll be like, it's not enough that you have to have the pinata, they're like, it's got to be blue. And to make a pinata blue might require another 5 things to do. So it's like nested difficulties upon nested difficulties. And when I was playing, I'm actually slightly embarrassed to say I had to have a color-coded spreadsheet.
You know,
to keep track of everything.
as soon as you started mentioning that stuff, my brain immediately went to Bomberman again. But no, it went to you would need a spreadsheet just to manage.
You have to. It's like I had a 5-page spreadsheet because then you can also like you can mutate the pinatas too, and some pinatas can only be created by mutating other pinatas into them. Like it's Like, for instance, there's this one that is like a tsetse fly. I don't remember his pinata name.
Yeah.
But you have to fly him through a tiki torch, and then you dump water on him, and then he turns into a different pinata called a red hot. But there's like, that's the easiest one, but they get really complicated.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. Master Evolver, which is to evolve 8 species. I was talking about that earlier with the Red Hot.
Yeah.
Those get pretty difficult. Like, God, I'm trying to think of the other creatures that you can evolve. I can't off the top of my head, but yeah. So the first 1 or 2 will be really easy, and then they get like escalatingly difficult.
Yeah.
As you go.
I can imagine, especially since that you said that one's the easiest one. I'm like, how would you even know to do that off the top of your head?
Spreadsheets.
Spreadsheets.
All
It's
about
always the
spreadsheets.
spreadsheets. But now we got these 2. I thought these would be kind of interesting to talk about.
Oh, Crowla Delay and Sherbat Dance.
Yes.
Both are to distract Destardos. Destardos is like the game's bad guy. He's a dickhead, and he will come and just wreck your garden. He'll like rip shit up that you pay a lot of money
What a
for, or
dick.
he'll touch your pinatas and make them sick, and then they'll die. So, but he has minions too that will constantly be coming and fucking with your garden.
Yeah.
And those are the sour pinatas, like sour Crowlas and sour Sherbats. But you can turn those pinatas to the light. If you do a certain amount of things, you can make them good Crowlas and good Sherbats, and then you can use them to because he's like, I thought you were on my team, and they're like, not anymore, dickhead, and then it distracts them. So.
Oh, okay. So those are the dickhead moves you got to do to the dickheads.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then the last one is Longevity Master, which is to play the game for 50 hours in real time, which is not that hard because it's about a 40-hour game to 100%.
Yeah. So there you go. It's not a terrible list, but it seems like a lot of work has to go into there and a lot of planning.
Yeah, and if anybody wants to talk about Viva Pinata with me, you can just email the real Viva Pinata fan at achievementhunter.com. And, that email address does not exist. Do not email.
Now I'm half imagine that's going to forward to my email. Damn it.
Please don't.
Well, that's been a lot of fun to talk about Viva Pinata. I got to pull you in for the second one when we eventually get to that one.
Oh, dude, I can't wait. I'm all about it.
I know you're all about the Viva Pinata. Well, I guess that's going to do it for us on this week, so check back next week for more crazy old games. Whee!
I'm going to do my Brown Man impression to end it.
Okay.
Yeah, you right. Do it. You won't.
And that's the perfect end to the video.